Thank you, Emma.
Nice to see you, Paul.
Nice to see you.
I hesitate to ask this question, actually, after saying that to Kevin. I was going to say, is bigger really better?
Well, some say bigger's better, but I don't know about that. But when it comes to widescreen, bigger is certainly better, as you can see here. A lot of what we've been doing today has been in the widescreen format, and for a lot of the demos we've been doing, if we weren't showing this widescreen, it wouldn't have been so impactful. You wouldn't have seen the combinations and the stuff that was going on with Richard, putting everything on the screen. It just wouldn't have had the same thing. So, widescreen. It allows you to immerse the audience in event imagery. Now, if it fills the peripheral vision, then all the better. More content can be displayed simultaneously, creating interesting vistas and increasing the audience's interest in the speaker support material. Now, due to the higher resolution that we can achieve with widescreen, it's also possible to get the audience much, much closer to the screen.
So what are the main benefits of this then, Paul?
Well, we've touched on resolution. We can achieve very high screen resolutions with widescreen. The screen behind me is 3,274 pixels wide and 1080 pixels high. So that's almost double HD. Now we're using two 20K HD projectors with a seamless overlay in the middle, creating this 9-meter screen. Now the whole set then becomes a graphic palette, allowing you to position content anywhere on the screen simultaneously. And it allows you to make your message the main focus of the event. Now each presentation can be made to look and feel very, very different. So if you have speakers that are different speakers, you can change the look and feel, which you can't do on a traditional standard set. Also, changes can lengthen the audience's concentration. You need to have that content, you need to have that very content to keep the audience occupied and also to keep their interest up. Now, the set design is fairly simple. Really, all you need is a blank canvas. We've gone a bit further this time. We've put low resolution LED around the screen to create something different. And I think it really works. You've got the high resolution and the low resolution, and when I run some of the modules, you'll see the difference between the two. Now, full screen modules can be created as conference openers or introductions to the next presentation. These are engaging and impactful. Now, when I first started in the industry, and I know some of you out in the audience started in the industry around about the same time, some before, some slightly after. But when I started in the industry, we didn't have all video. Video wasn't there yet. Yes, there were video projectors, but they were dim and they weren't very bright, and you had to turn all the lights off in the room. We had slide projection, 35mm slide projection. And we had huge images and we had lovely conference openers. As soon as PowerPoint came along, that all went out of the window, and everybody started viewing things in a much, much smaller format, 4:3 format. And we didn't have those lovely conference openers that really set the tone for the conference and were real sort of bum warmers, get the audience interested in what was going on and really set the scene. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a conference opener that we did for Lacoste. It was a Lacoste show, just to give you an idea of what can be achieved when you make the screen a little bit wider.
Do you want to go to the seaside? I'm not trying to say that everybody wants to go. I fell in love at the seaside. I handle my charm with time and sleight of hand. But I fell in love on the seaside. On the seaside. In the seaside. Right
So that was something we did for Lacoste for their spring collection. And as you can see, it was a really nice opener that only could be achieved on a really nice widescreen with high resolution.
Some quite striking images there, Paul. You've got front and rear projection. Can it be used with both?
Yeah, it can, absolutely. Front projection, if you're using front projection, then a white canvas seamless covering is adequate. If you want to spend the extra money on a dedicated front projection screen surface, which may give you a slightly brighter image, it's fine. But in most applications, a white cloth is absolutely fine. If you're going to go for rear projection, and sometimes rear projection is best, you can get all the projectors behind the stage, you can avoid the noise, then it's a different matter, because you'll need to observe a few basic rules. Various rear projection surfaces have very, very different characteristics. Some are very efficient at allowing the projection light to pass through, but they often create hotspots. You can actually see the projector lamps through the screen. Now, some have poorer light dispersion, so the image may darken in certain spots depending on where you're sitting. From experience, we have chosen this surface, which is Translite Blue. It's got the best of, it's a compromise, but it's got some good qualities. It allows a fair amount of light through, but it's got very good dispersion, so you don't get hotspots. And it's very good for the blend in the middle. Very short projection throws also should be avoided if you can. They often induce more of a hotspot. So try and get the projector as far away from the screen as possible, and you'll get a better seamless image, and you'll get a better join. You'll also need to pay attention to the audience sight lines. But this isn't so much of a problem if you're using a good screen surface, and if you're also using rear projection.
So where and when would this be used?
Well, the widescreen format works equally well on small and large events. You just have to scale it up in order to meet your requirements and your budgets. Now, for smaller meetings, you can use a single projector with picture-in-picture capability. And we've got systems at Blitz where you can just have a widescreen using 16:9, and we can open up a picture window. Very simple, really, my first widescreen show. It's really base level, and we can ramp it right the way up to a full encore, multi-screen, 40-meter wide images. We have the whole range and gamut of products. The format works well if you've got a lot of content, video, and you're switching between camera images and speaker support. Now, all of these elements can be viewed on the screen at the same time, and that's the beauty of having a much wider vista. Larger events, such as car launches and award ceremonies, lend themselves to widescreen technology. It also works well, funnily enough, for financial meetings, allowing a large amount of data to be saved simultaneously, so you can do a lot of comparisons of charts, which people in finance like to do. They like looking at lots of numbers. Now, you can display high-resolution images that look good when using the entire screen area. But in any event, we will ensure at Blitz that we tailor a system that meets your particular budget. Now, what I've got for you now, just to give you an idea of the resolution that we've got here, because at the moment we're using PowerPoint images, but I've got some images which were created in a very high resolution. These are static images, and I'd like to show some of these to you, just to show what sort of quality of image you can get just with two projectors blended together. So if we can run some of those, please.
I love some of these images. I think they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they're nice, these images.
No, that's just stunning.
You can really see the skin tone there, and you can see a lot of detail in there.
There's your company car, Paul.
There's my company car. Need to change that. And there's Watford. Looks nice.
There's your holiday pad.
So you can see, you can get some very good... And if you're doing shows for clients where pack shots are really important, car interiors, lots of detail, then this is a fantastic way of getting that detail onto the screen, and also showing their products, which they're proud of, their brands, in the best possible light. Now, at Blitz we can provide a complete turnkey service, which includes the assistance of creation of speaker support, backgrounds, and modules. Now, if our clients wish to produce the software themselves, then that's fine. We can provide them with the templates and the technical advice. Now, this system also gives you the opportunity to mix high definition with standard definition. Also 16:9 images with 4:3 images. How many times have I heard our customers come to us and say, oh look, the client's turned up and they've got a load of 4:3 images now and we've got a 16:9 set. Oh, it's all going to be a nightmare. With the systems that we use here, we can incorporate both by opening up windows, running the 4:3 in a window and treating the 16:9 separately. And you don't need to spend a lot of money creating stings and modules. I'm going to show you something now which was relatively cheap to produce, but it was very, very impactful. This is something that we created as an opener to the Institute of Directors annual convention in April 2009 at the Royal Albert Hall. Now, it seems like a long time ago. Cast your minds back, April 2009. We were in a few months into one of the deepest recessions in our lifetime. The banks were running scared. Everybody was really worried, particularly in the events business. We were looking, a lot of us were looking into a black hole thinking, Christ, what's going to happen here? Everybody was very, very worried. And the Institute of Directors meeting is directors that are from a cross-section of business coming together, and they wanted to set the scene. They wanted to set the scenes of how bad things were, but it wasn't all doom and gloom. So we created a huge 20-meter screen to show the content. Because of the times, there was little budget. So this was produced for about £2,000, and hopefully you'll see the impact it gives on a large screen. Now, very powerful piece. Didn't cost a lot of money to do, but if that had been shown on a little 4:3 screen on a felt-covered set, it just wouldn't have the impact. You need this space, you need this widescreen format in order to get that across to the audience, in order to get that emotion and real depth of feeling across. Now, we also, of course, supply all the technical requirements: projection, the widescreen systems, the programming, cameras, audio, lighting, set build, and, of course, the technical expertise and crewing that goes into these events. If you want to put something like this on, if you want to have a widescreen setup, we'll do the recce's, we'll look at the venues and work out the optimum screen size, with all the room parameters and the audience size taken into consideration.